which have gone viral. And that's why from the authorities, from the police and from our side as well, people have been requested to ensure that they cross-check facts, do not believe on things on face value, and that is something.
Clearly, on the day one of the strike, when we hit the terrorist 9 camps, nothing beyond that was damaged. Everything was so precise and oriented targeting. So our intent is very, very clear. The Pakistan army, their establishment, their people, their camps, everything will be targeted, less the people. And our war is not, our conflict is not with the people of Pakistan. It is with the armed forces and these perpetrators of terrors who were there, even treating these terrorists who were killed on the day one by draping their in Pakistan national flag, and all top leadership was there to salute them. So this is what it clearly reflects, that Pakistan army is only resorting to terrorism. They are not professional. Whatever they are doing even today and yesterday they have done, it's unprofessional. Targeting in Indian civil areas and just launching drones without even any intent. Nothing has made any impact except on the line of control. Some civilians have suffered because of the artillery firing, exchange of firing. But now even you see the army has given out a statement that we have responded extremely well and along the line of control. So I have no doubt because at the line
we're also going to get in a detail. We're also going to get in a short while, viewers, a detailed briefing, a debriefing by the Ministry of External Affairs. It's been happening daily because clearly one thing that we can say for sure, we have gone way over in the escalatory matrix where we stand right now, all thanks to Pakistan, because Pakistan once again, the third time now, forced India's hand to retaliate yesterday after it tried to attack civil installations there. I want to cut across right now to my colleague Mir, who's been with us. But Mir, what more can you add? Because like I said, there is always at a time of conflict, attack, counterattacks, fair amount of disinformation also there, and a lot of disinformation also emanating where Pakistan is concerned. So there is full propaganda that Pakistan is trying to portray in terms of all the installations that it attacked in India. One thing we can safely say that through the course of last night to now, though this morning we've had one casualty where one civilian, one woman has been killed in the firing in the Uri sector, but till now no casualty has been reported, something that even the Indian Armed Forces have been reiterating.
Well, yes, Preeti, you rightly said a lot of information and, in fact, a lot of disinformation. Social media is full of fake news, old videos which have gone viral. And that's why from the authorities, from the police and from our side as well, people have been requested to ensure that they cross-check facts, do not believe on things on face value, and that is something which is the biggest challenge of our times, because war means a lot of disinformation and people get panicked. So that is something that's happening. But as you rightly said, no news of any major damage as far as these strikes are concerned. And also casualty, we know one has happened in Uri where a woman has been killed. Some people have been injured, but a lot of damage to property. We're getting visuals right now. Moments back, I got visuals from Kupara, various parts of Kupara, LOC areas, including Chokibal, Dodipura, and other areas where Pakistani guns have pounded the civilian areas as well, and a lot of damage to property. Thankfully, there were people who were moved out from the line of fire yesterday, though initially, as far as the first day of Operation Sindur, there were, in fact, some criticism on the authorities because they knew that there will be a fallout. So on the very first day, they were not moved out. But then lessons were learned and people were brought out. So that has ensured not many casualties, and still the process of taking people out from vulnerable areas and areas which are directly in the line of fire, that's being done. So all that is happening, but a lot of misinformation, as you rightly said, which obviously we also getting a lot of information from various sites, but we are only putting out that bit which we get confirmed from cross sections, also from the official sources.
Well, you're right there, because even from our side, we're going to be very, very responsible for whatever. Very good morning, viewers. You're watching India Today. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. What are clearly fast-widening hostilities between India and Pakistan. Pakistan has once again forced India's hand to give a proportionate response to what it did at 8:30 p.m. last night, which is practically crossing a red line when you attacked our civilian installations and population. Though India thwarted each of those attempts, repelled each of those attempts, and India then hit back. Clearly, now India and Pakistan have escalated in the matrix of escalation. We're going to get you the latest that is coming.
Indian civil areas and, just launching drones without even any intent. Nothing has made any impact except, on
Right.
the line of control, some civilians have suffered because of the artillery firing, exchange of firing. But now even you see the army has given out a statement that we have responded extremely well and along the line of control. So I have no doubt because at the line
We're
of
also going to get in a detail. We're also going to get in a short while, viewers, a detailed briefing, a debriefing by the Ministry of External Affairs. It's been happening daily because clearly one thing that we can say for sure, we have gone way over in the escalatory matrix where we stand right now, all thanks to Pakistan, because Pakistan once again, the third time now, forced India's hand to retaliate yesterday after it tried to attack civil installations there. I want to cut across right now to my colleague Mir, who's been with us. But Mir, what more can you add? Because like I said, there is always at a time of conflict, attack, counterattacks, fair amount of disinformation also there, and a lot of disinformation also emanating where Pakistan is concerned. So there is full propaganda that Pakistan is trying to portray in terms of all the installations that it attacked in India. One thing we can safely say that through the course of last night to now, though this morning we've had one casualty where one civilian, one woman has been killed in the firing in the Uri sector, but till now no casualty has been reported, something that even the Indian Armed Forces have been reiterating.
Well, yes, Preeti, but you rightly said a lot of information and, in fact, a lot of disinformation. Social media is full of fake news, old videos which have gone viral. And that's why from the authorities, from the police and from our side as well, people have been requested to ensure that they cross-check facts, do not believe on things on face value. And that is something which is the biggest challenge of our times, because war means...
Filtering in right now because after a few hours of lull, we saw heavy firing in the Uri sector. And now the latest that is coming in, fresh Pakistan drone strike has been repelled in Jaisalmer. Pakistan once again tried a fresh drone strike between 4:30 to 5:30 a.m. and the Indian Air Defense has taken down each of those drones. India has repulsed, thwarted once again Pakistan's Hamas-style of drone attacks. All of this coming in from Jaisalmer, viewers. Rajasthan shares about 1,000 kilometers, the longest border with Pakistan. And ever since yesterday, that border has been lit where Jaisalmer, Pakistan tried to send across multiple drones. Each of those drones were neutralized, intercepted, and then there was a lull. But early this morning, once again, Pakistan unrelenting, trying to push drones back, fresh drone strike on Jaisalmer between 4:30 to 5:30 a.m. What we've been given to understand right now, that India's superb air defense system has taken down these Pakistani drones one by one. India has repulsed Pakistan's Hamas-style drone attacks. That's the latest that we are getting in. I want to immediately cut across to my colleague Shivani, who's joining us with the latest. Shivani, late last night, Pakistan attempted to attack Jaisalmer by sending out drones. Each of those drones were intercepted, taken down. The attempt was foiled. Early this morning, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m., again, Pakistan once again tried to send drones, these suicide drones, to India, to Jaisalmer, and word coming in, each of those drones were once again thwarted, taken down by India's exemplary air defense system. What details do you have, Shivani?
Preeti, Jaisalmer was the place where we were reporting that in the night there was an attempt by Pakistani drones of intrusion and attack, but they were neutralized. There were multiple drones that were reported in that area, but they were neutralized befittingly by the not only by the air defense system, but there was some action that was being responded well by the Indian army out there. Jaisalmer happens to be a very crucial border area with a lot of defense establishments out there, Preeti. So Pakistan attempted to attack by drones, but all of those attacks were thwarted. Again in the morning, there are reports of fresh attacks from Pakistani drones and munitions that are being neutralized once again by our air defense system, the multi-layered air defense systems that are a combination of different air defense system guns that have been activated in that whole region, Preeti. This attack has once again been neutralized, and Indian Army is responding forcefully to repulse these actions. That's what we have been given to understand through the sources and also the Army official statement that has come in. So multiple areas that includes Jaisalmer, Jammu and Kashmir, the LOC, where this attack continues from Pakistan's side in terms of the artillery shelling and also the drones and munitions that are being thwarted forcefully, befittingly by the Indian Armed Forces. Preeti.
You know, Shivani, continue to stay with me and I'm going to come right back. I also introduce Dr. Tara Kartha, terrorism security expert, someone who knows Pakistan very, very well, and we're going to cut across to her as well. We are also joined by Mir Farid. But viewers, I want to quickly take you through the chronology. Clearly, we are up the escalation matrix with Pakistan. Pakistan once again forcing India's hand to proportionately respond, but respond aggressively. I want to take you through to what now is clearly the third chapter of Operation Sindur. 8:30 p.m. last night, you had Pakistan that seemingly has now crossed a red line, because Pakistan attempted to not just attack India's military installations, but also go off India's civilian installations, civilian residential areas. It began with an attempt to attack the Jammu airport, the Jammu airstrip there, along with the civilian areas, which was a combination of missiles, of drones, of fighter jets. India repelled, foiled that attack completely, viewers. What we've been given to understand that through the course of the night, 3 Pakistan fighter jets have been downed by India, and there have been no casualties, at least till 5:30 this morning. After that, the Jammu attack, then the entire Western Front lit up with swarm drones being sent across by Pakistan, drones, fighter jets and missiles that Pakistan used, where Jaisalmer, Pathankot, Udhampur, all these areas, Jalandhar, all these areas came under attack, and each of those attempts were thwarted. But this was, like I pointed out, was that red line that Pakistan crossed. India then responded befittingly to the escalation of Pakistan, and it's important right now to underline that word escalation by Pakistan, because India has only been responding proportionately at that. But India, though you had Pakistan, which came at the Western Front, India hit hard. India went deep in, once again, for the third time there, attacking Lahore. What we've been given to understand, Lahore has been attacked, Peshawar has been attacked, Bawal Nagar, Kant area has been attacked by India. All of this as a retaliatory measure. There was a bit of a lull, viewers. Then early this morning, once again, heavy artillery shelling across the LOC from Pakistan at the Uri sector. And unfortunately, we have had one civilian who's been killed, one woman who is been killed in this heavy artillery firing, which came in at the Uri sector, and collateral to this, viewers. Ultimately now, our citizen count goes up to 17, and India is a country which doesn't disown its fallen citizens. And we will reply befittingly at that, because we wear this grief very heavy. 17 civilians right now dead, killed, in fact, by Pakistan, which is relentlessly going after civilian residential areas across the LOC by using mortar and heavy artillery shelling. After that, we've just reported there has been another drone attack in Jaisalmer. Pakistan once again tried to push drones through to Jaisalmer. These are suicide drones, but India has taken each of these drones down by our exemplary air defense systems. I want to cut across right now. We have Mir Farid, who's joining us. Shivani continues to be with us. Dr. Tara Kartha, she's been with us through the course of the last 48 hours analyzing the situation. Dr. Tara Kartha, it doesn't look like now Pakistan is going to de-escalate, because if Pakistan crossed that red line yesterday where it tried to go after civil installations, Pakistan is not de-escalating. India, though, hitting back hard.
I think that message we've sent all along, that our attacks are proportionate, our attacks are non-escalatory, that message is just not being received by these people. But then from what I've told you all, on this channel from the beginning, it did seem to me that Pakistan wants you to stay engaged and perhaps go to something short of war. It seems to me that is their objective. Because otherwise,
but Dr. Kartha, Pakistan would want us to be engaged. Pakistan won't want to keep this conflict brewing. The conflict is only widened now with the hostilities reaching a crescendo. But the larger question, Dr. Tara Kartha, can Pakistan actually afford to keep it brewing? Do they have that kind of ammunition? They're going back to the IMF for more money today.
Oh, yes, they are. And the thing is that, what shall I say, just one second. The fact is that their money from the IMF is unlikely to come, because it's not a bank. It's a proper bank. He's not going to give you money to fund the war. Second is, they had asked China for 1.5 billion over, in sort of what I would call an overdraft. In, of course, financial terms, it's something else, which means they've already exhausted their 4 billion reserves. So that's why I'm saying, yet they have increased their defense budget by 18%.
True.
So there is money coming in from somewhere. The question is where it's coming from. And this, I recall that once when we looked at Pakistan's budget papers, we were looking at the entire thing, and in one footnote, just one, I found military loan from China, unaccounted for. It's not to be seen anywhere in the budget. So this is, you need money to fight a war. Weapons are being given by Turkey and China.
Right.
So therefore, there are a lot of other actors involved in this. But so far, it seems that it's an ego trip of General Asif Munir. If that is the case, then it's extremely dangerous. When one man wants to...
You're right. You're right, Ms. Kartha, because, we're getting a news break, and you're bang on when you say it's an ego trip of one man who is, of course, General Asif Munir. But India is hitting back, giving the message very clear. You come to our Western Front, we will go all the way to Lahore again. We will hit you where it hurts, which is Rawalpindi, the seat of Pakistan Army. We will hit you there. All right, the latest news that is also coming in. Government sources have confirmed to India today heavy damage has been inflicted in Lahore. Sources have told India today multiple Pakistan cities badly damaged. India has launched counter strikes on Pakistan late last night. India has hit Lahore, Peshawar, Bahawalnagar, Kant late last night, avenging the third strike by Pakistan, which really did not land, viewers, because Pakistan went all in late last night from 8:30 p.m. onwards, but India repelled, foiled, thwarted each of those attempts. I want to quickly cut across to Shivani, my colleague. I want to bring her in. Shivani, multiple reports coming in. You have the Indian Army issue a statement this morning that once again Pakistan tried to escalate the situation, trying to come after civil installations, and India has reacted, to underline the word, proportionately but aggressively.
Preeti, what Indian Army says is that all these actions have been responded with force. That has a lot of meaning, that till now we were doing it proportionately, but now we are doing it with full force. We are not only neutralizing the threats coming our way, but we are banging and we are hitting Pakistan hard in multiple locations along the line of control. Also, the ceasefire violations have been on, but this time the shelling has been very heavy, intense and frequent from Pakistan's side, to which Indian Army is also responding with full force. That is repulsing these actions from Pakistan. Not only on the boundaries, we are getting to know that inside Pakistan also heavy damages have been inflicted. Remember that these damages started while Operation Sindur was on. But yesterday morning also the air defense systems of Pakistan were destroyed and damaged by our missiles that went inside. And after yesterday's misadventure, that was again a foolish mistake by Pakistan. The Indian armed forces are into action, all the three services, in a coordinated action against Pakistan's misadventure, and they have inflicted heavy damages to Pakistan's military installations.
Shivani, stay with me, and we're going to just take our viewers through that. Hold on to that thought, Shivani, because you just spoke of India inflicting heavy damage late last night, retaliatory in nature, responsive in nature, but very aggressive in nature, viewers. Taking you through on some of the cities that India attacked. Peshawar is one city that India hit last night, retaliating to Pakistan's attempt to attack India. Peshawar was one city. Lahore, once again, what we've been given to understand, viewers, that India has hit Lahore once again. How vulnerable Lahore is can clearly be stated, because yesterday, once again, in the afternoon, when India was retaliating to Pakistan's attacks or attempts to attack 15 key military installations, India retorted early yesterday morning by attacking Lahore and destroying their ADS, their air defense system. And late last night, India once again attacked Lahore city. So what we know right now, Peshawar, Lahore, Bahawalnagar. We're going to take Karachi off just for now, viewers. We're going to wait for an official confirmation if at all Karachi was also attacked by our Indian Navy. Right now, there is no official confirmation. I want to cut across back to Dr. Karta, who's with us, along with all our reporters who've been doing a fine job, viewers. It's not, there is this fog of war. There is so much disinformation, and one has to give it to journalists on ground who are constantly trying to sift through that disinformation and get you the facts of where they stand. It's not an easy job, but they are doing it. Want to get in, Dr. Karta, back into this conversation, because Dr. Karta, what's interesting right now is that they're attacking our western fronts. We are going deep in. We are hitting Lahore again. We've hit Peshawar. We've hit Bahawalnagar last night. Word came in of Karachi being hit. We are not confirming that because we want that confirmation to come in from the Ministry of External Affairs. Because if Karachi was hit, we are not confirming that, Dr. Karta, because the Indian Navy comes in when there is a full-blown war and comes in when economic assets need to be taken down. If that has happened at all, we are saying it's not happened right now, but if and when that happens, when the Indian Navy kicks in, one, it will kick in at a time where the heat is too much at the Western Front and India will need assistance and also open up another theater, which will be the Indian Navy, and that will happen when big assets will be taken by the Indian Navy, economic assets of Pakistan.
I just need also to congratulate you and your team. Excellent reporting. Hats off to your guys on the ground. And I just wanted to mention there are multiple NOTAMs been issued for 8th to 13th May. This is by Indian Navy and I think Pakistan Navy. That I have to confirm. So
no, both, you're right.
Yeah, so there is something brewing. There are these, I think they are 80 to 83 nautical miles separate, these two fleets in the ocean, which is very, very little. So there is, all you need is one, but then I mean, not to sort of, add to a masala or something. This is something the two navies are used to. They are used to operating and shadowing each other, listening to each other. These are responsible people. And given, I have to, if you'll allow me to congratulate also the Indian government. They have been so calculated in their moves. They are not letting, that cry for war overwhelm the state. There is generally sometimes there's a saying, it starts rolling decision making. I've seen this happen when I was in government in a different context, where you do X, then you for Y, and then before you know it, you reach the end of the road. So they are not doing that. That is excellent. But
Dr. Karta, what is different this time? Because one thing is very clear. Pakistan's not backing out. We know that for a fact. Pakistan's not going to de-escalate. It can be an ego trip, or there is a hand that is funding Pakistan. We don't want to get into conjecture whether, it's China or anybody else. We're not getting into that. But Pakistan is not looking to de-escalate if we are only going to read into the actions of Pakistan over the course of the last 24 hours. Of what they did yesterday was crossing that proverbial red line where you go after civil installations like the Jammu airport. It was thwarted, that's aside, but they did try to attempt to bomb the Jammu airstrip, and that is big in itself. Away from that, India's response right now has been calibrated, measured, but Dr. Kartha, it's been very, very aggressive. You come to our Western Front, we'll go deeper, we'll hit you harder.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And look at the way they've gone into and hit the air defense first. Air defense opening a gateway and then going in. So and the fact that you have also, I believe, some India-made, Bangalore city-made drones were also involved in earlier strikes, not these ones, earlier strikes, which is commendable. So there is a lot of stuff being put on the table here. The thing is that, I'll tell you what is different from last, say, Balakot to this time. What is different? One, of course, you have this crazy Asim Munir on top, which is horrendous. Number two is the fact, which is the dangerous part here, is that the rest of the world is completely involved in their own stuff. There is Ukraine, there is Gaza, so you've just seen J.D. Vance's statement. He says, this is none of our business. So that factor, which would sometimes pull in Pakistan and say, look, stop right now, that seems to be missing. So when you have an ego trip guy involved, he actually needs what we call an off-ramp. Well, nobody's giving him that. If he wants to impress his public, there has to be something which comes out from outside, where, say, the US president calls Shahbaz Sharif, nothing.
True.
So
you're bang on. You're right, ma'am. It's the ego of this one man. And we're going to, on the other side, I want to take our viewers through on where India stands, because it could be because of the ego of one man who is clearly on a suicide mission, if that is what is propelling him to do what he is doing right now. But what he has done, viewers, is, General Munir, that taken India and Pakistan's conflict, which could have clearly ended with India responding to attacking and neutralizing terror launch pads in Pakistan at the back of the Pahalgam attack. It could have just ended there, but it didn't. Yeah. But what has really happened is today we stand at the precipice where the conflict has only heightened and it's reached its crescendo, where we talk on the escalatory matrix right now, at least with what we've seen in the last 48 hours. We are now officially, viewers, whichever way we might want to look at it, in Chapter 3 of Operation Sindur. Chapter 1 was avenging retribution for Pahalgam, which we did successfully. Chapter 2 was responding to Pakistan's escalation of attempting to attack 15 Indian military installations. Well, they could not even land one bomb on India. Each of those attempts were thwarted, but they did attempt it. And India responded befittingly by bombing Lahore's air defense system of Pakistan and Rawalpindi, again a drone attack on Rawalpindi's army headquarters. And that must have hurt, because that is practically the seat of power where Pakistan is concerned, because that is where the all-consuming, all-pervasive army of Pakistan is headquartered. Well, with that was Chapter 2, Stage 2 of Operation Sindur. Then Pakistan crossed that proverbial red line at last night, viewers, where it attempted to go after civil installations like the Jammu airport. You had drones, swarms coming through, attempting to attack Jaisalmer. Rajasthan shares the longest borderline with Pakistan, completely lit, where it went after, where Jalandhar in Punjab, drones were sent, intercepted, neutralized by India. Udhampur, Pathankot. So there was an aggressive attempt by Pakistan once again to attack India, civil installations in India, and with that crossing of that proverbial red line, India's hand was once again forced, which is Stage 3 now of Operation Sindur, to hit back hard, retaliate hard, to basically respond to what has been escalation by escalation where Pakistan is concerned, pushing India and Pakistan's conflict up that escalation matrix. And the only credit of that goes to Pakistan, viewers. So this is where we stand right now. We're going to be hoping to get more clarity very soon. We're going to get a word coming in from the Ministry of External Affairs. There's going to be, once again, a debriefing for the world, and where the fine print of what really happened. What did Pakistan attempt? The misadventure, once again, it's embarked on. Many would suggest foolish, completely suicidal in nature. And how did India respond? So all eyes on that press conference that we are going to hear. But a couple of words, because it's so very important. Every time, there is a press briefing or a press note that goes out at this point of time, each and every word that a responsible nation puts into that press note is measured, calibrated. And that is what India has done. Right from the word go, measured, non-escalatory have been words that India has constantly used and followed in spirit, suggesting we've not attacked your civilian population, we've not attacked your military population, military installations. That was our first press note. We've only gone after terror launch pads as a retaliatory measure because you will not dismantle them, therefore we will have to. That was our first press briefing. The second press briefing was once again, it was non-escalatory in nature. India's hand was forced to attack Pakistan's military installations, like dismantling their ADS system in Lahore, a response to Pakistan's escalation, grave escalation at that, where it attempted to attack 15 of India's key military installations. So once again, the words in that press briefing was measured. But the second time around, viewers, India also put in one word, which was proportionate response, that you will hit us, we will respond proportionately, aggressively. So it was important to read that. So what's really important now, viewers, in the third phase, how will India react? What will that debriefing to the world sound like? What will be our press note? What is the kind of language that we are going to use? Because for any responsible nation, right after there has been a conflict, the debriefing is very important because that's your messaging to the world. I want to bring in Dr. Kartha once again into this conversation. We are also going to cut across to our reporters. If we can quickly let me know who we have right now, and we'll go across to them. We're not giving out locations of our reporters, viewers, at all, because it's an ongoing operation. We are in its third phase. It will compromise the operation and also compromise the security of our reporters. I will, though, reiterate, it's not an easy job to report on war. There are a lot of armchair journalists who will sit and pass commentary. It's not easy. There is so much disinformation. We might not be in a war. The conflict might be heightened to a different level, but the disinformation practically resembles what is the fog of war. So for a journalist to continue sifting through all of this disinformation, sifting the facts from what is clearly hearsay or propaganda is not an easy job. And our journalists are endeavoring and attempting to do so while putting themselves in the line of fire. I also want to quickly touch on one casualty that we've had, and I just don't want to touch on it because viewers, the biggest collateral in the times of conflict and war are the hapless innocent citizens. And India is not like Pakistan. We own our dead. We own those who've been fallen to the name of terror at the hands of Pakistan. It's taken our count to 17 now. 17 Indian citizens have been killed by Pakistan, and all of these casualties have not happened in a drone strike, have not happened in a jet, because we have brought down 3 fighter jets of Pakistan. All these casualties have happened where Pakistan has systematically gone after India's civilian population, the LOC, by using very heavy artillery fire and mortar shells coming across. Ever since the last 48 hours, 17 lives have been lost, killed by Pakistan. The weight of that grief we will not wear lightly. We will give a befitting response. I want to quickly, get in my colleague Aishwarya, who's joining us this morning, and Mir, I want to pull you in as well. But Aishwarya, that's one location I am going to give out, because Aishwarya is joining us from Delhi and she's tracking whatever is going on right now where the defense minister briefing is concerned, because he Aishwarya, very soon is going to be briefed by the CDS and the tri-chiefs on the current situation. The Prime Minister also monitoring the situation very closely. Any word coming in? When can we get in the press briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs to the world?
Well, 9 a.m., Preeti, that's the time when we will see the MEA coming out and doing the press conference. We will also see them giving out clarifications also. Because, see, Preeti, one thing that has happened, and we did see it throughout the night, last night, it is the social media that was abuzz with a lot of information, and some of it was really not true. That's something that the government also at the moment is very keenly looking at. The ANB Ministry, the IT Ministry, and in fact, the MEA also, Defense Ministry also very closely tracking what's happening on social media, because a lot of information is coming in. A sort of clarity will be given by the government. Government also does not want panic to spread across the country. That's something that the government is very mindful of, and that's the reason why the Prime Minister also continuously over the past 1 week, almost 10 days, Preeti, has been briefed about everything that has been happening, every step that has been taken. The government is in the know of it. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is being
Aishwarya, I'm going to come right back to you. 9 a.m. is when that press conference is. Aishwarya, my colleague, reporting. Like I said, that's one location I'm going to give out. But I want to quickly bring in Dr. Kartha. She's going to leave us shortly. But Dr. Kartha, what do you expect now from somebody who's studied Pakistan very closely? There's no backing off, because what looks like is now we're only up on an escalatory ladder. We don't know when it will stop. What do you think India's response should be? Because till now we've been proportionate. We've been aggressive but proportionate. Should India now hit harder? What's your outlook?
I'm going to say something which is a little controversial, but I think it's worth thinking of. I think it's time you took some humanitarian aid accompanied by aircraft into Afghanistan. So your aircraft will be there, your air warning will be there, your radar will be there. Let's give these people a little something to think of. I mean, you are entitled to go there, because as soon as you close the Attari-Wagah border, your aid and your trade with Afghanistan is gone, and those poor people are suffering. So you have a humanitarian reason for taking an aircraft there, accompanied by fighter jets for safety.
That's an interesting thought, Dr. Kartha. And one quick question before I let you go, because you speak of Afghanistan. Let me bring up Balochistan, because at the back of it, the Baloch freedom fighters have actually seen this as an opportunity to then come out and strongly against Pakistan. Through the course of last night, there have been multiple attacks on Pakistan army in Balochistan itself.
I think, in fact, that Karachi one which you were talking of, the explosion which we saw some videos, I think that was a Baloch operation. And there are multiple messages to me as well as on Twitter and to a bunch of our people that please help us out. This is the moment when we've been waiting for. They are looking for freedom. These poor guys, they've been tortured for so many decades. So this is, so many people are seeing this as avenging of the wrongs that have been done to them. So you are occupying the moral high ground. You're saying we are defending. That is very, very important in this. At this point of time, it's important for your armed forces as well, because it's part of your war culture. That is why.
All right, Dr. Kartha, thank you for joining us this morning. You have a good day. We'll see you later. Appreciate you taking the time out and analyzing the current context on where India stands, which is, viewers, a heightened conflict right now. It's only widened where India and Pakistan is concerned. We're way up the escalation ladder and the escalation matrix, call it what you may. All right, I want to quickly now once again get our viewers up to speed with the latest that is coming in. So I took you through the whole chronology, viewers, ever since 8:30 p.m. where Pakistan literally crossed that proverbial red line when it attempted to go after India's key civil installations, like attack the Jammu airport. It was thwarted, it was foiled by India, but the sheer attempt of that, and then continuing to attack Jaisalmer, Jalandhar, Pathankot, Udhampur, we can go on. Each of those attempts were thwarted. India has brought down 3 fighter jets of Pakistan. India has attacked in retaliation to Pakistan. We've attacked what we know, can confirm, only giving you out that information, is Peshawar, is Lahore, is Bahawalnagar. can't. These are the three locations that we know India's hit hard. So they've come at our western front, we've gone in deeper, we've hit them harder. Having said that, what we can also tell you, which my colleague Aishwarya just quickly apprised us, that the defense minister very soon will be meeting the tri-chiefs as well as the CDS to quickly get updated with the situation. He's, of course, going to relay that to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is continuously monitoring what now is phase 3 of Operation Sindur. All right, there's more news coming in. Pakistan attempted to strike multiple military targets across northern and western India using drones and missiles. The aerial assault was neutralized by the S-400 air defense system. What was a calibrated response, Indian armed forces struck Pakistani air defense radars and systems using anti-missile systems. Akash Tir, also known as India's Iron Dome, designed to automate air defense control and reporting, was activated. Developed by Bharat Electronics Limited, it can enable forces to intercept and neutralize Pakistan projectiles. It's important, viewers. And if we have Shivani, we're going to try and get in Shivani, my colleague who tracks defense very closely, because India has multi-layers of ADS, air defense systems. So at one end, if you have the S-400 Sudarshan, which is like a Sudarshan Chakra across India, that S-400 has been bought from Russia. Having said that, Akash Tir is indigenous, developed by Bharat Electronics, and it can enable forces to intercept and neutralize Pak projectiles. So multiple air defense systems at play. What is heartening to note is that even indigenous, made in India technology also coming good at the time of this conflict. Let me also quickly move on. Akash Tir generates real-time data to precisely track aerial threats by collecting inputs from multiple radars and sensors. It acts as a digital nerve center of air defense networks. The Indian Air Force deployed its S-400, which I told you earlier, air defense systems as well. 3 long-range air defense systems that can engage aircrafts, cruise missiles, and UAVs. It can hit multiple targets up to 400 kilometers, can track over 160 targets in 600-kilometer range. It can also target 72 targets in 400-kilometer range. So it's important, viewers. Why we are stressing and we are speaking of Akash Tir is because at one end, while we must laud the exceptional S-400 air defense system that India bought from Russia, we might also at this point of time give a hat tip to Made in India Akash Tir, indigenous, Made in India Akash Tir air defense system, which also yesterday was at work to thwart Pakistan's attempt to penetrate India. Now, India also deployed its 40 mm AA gun upgraded with radar and sensors. It includes electro-optics, auto-tracking gear, and can fire 240 to 330 rounds per minute. Its effective range extends up to 4,000 meters and saturates airspace with predictive firepower. India also deployed its weapon system, Shilka. All of these are self-propelled with 4 23 mm autocannons. Its radars can detect targets that are 20 kilometers away. It can fire up to 4,000 rounds per minute. Viewers, all of this might sound like defense jargon to you, but all of it came together to protect you. Many of us slept calmly through the last 2 nights while the equipment that I just detailed for you, while our exemplary, our heroic armed forces were thwarting the attempts of Pakistan bit by bit so we could sleep peacefully. All those cliches hold true over the course of the last 48 hours, viewers. And one must think about our brave men who are fighting at the front, manning the equipment that we spoke of, exceptional equipment that we spoke of, but there are boots on ground who's doing this heavy lifting for us that we here can report or sleep peacefully through a night while they are at it. I want to cut across right now to my colleague Mir, who's also going to give us a larger understanding of how India thwarted this third attempt by Pakistan through the course of last night. Mir, if the night before it was the S-400 air defense system that was crucial to repel, foil those attacks by Pakistan mounted on 15, mind you, 15 key army installations in India across the Western Front border. Then, yesterday, we had multiple ADS systems come together to protect or give that proverbial Iron Dome to India, which includes Kashmir, which is made in India, indigenously built. Give us more details.
Well, Preeti, this is the first time that in a real-time situation, in a war situation, this integrated air defense system has come good. Now, you also have to factor in the China factor as far as Pakistan and its weapon systems are concerned. You talk of the PL-15E surface-to-air missiles that in fact China fast-tracked to Pakistan to counter the Rafale threat. Then also the JC-10 aircrafts, the fighter jets that the Pakistan use. So it is a technology that is being given to Pakistan by China. Obviously, China does not have any real-time conflict where it can test its weapon systems. So it is testing them through Pakistan. So that factor also we need to weigh in when we look at all angles of what's happening right now as far as this confrontation and the escalation ladder. So Pakistan is using those weapon systems against India, and it has also claimed to have used the same missiles when Operation Sindur was launched against the Indian fighter jets. So that is also that is important. But as far as Indian response is concerned, it's the first time we have seen the effectiveness of the integrated air defense systems. The latest weapon systems, as you rightly spoke about, the S-400, which is the best as far as air defense is concerned. I do not see any other weapon system coming close to S-400. So India has that deployed. There are at least 3-4 systems at work. More could have been supplied to India, but because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, that could not happen. So we have the best air defense systems, there's no doubt about it. But on the other hand, you also have to factor in how China is coming in at the aid of Pakistan right now with its cutting-edge technology that is providing to Pakistan.
Mir, you know what's interesting is, Mir, I'm just coming in and I'll tell you why it's interesting that yes, China is coming in with its cutting-edge technology, but the ADS systems of Pakistan, which clearly are not working right now, are made in China. So there's a larger thought there.
Well, yes, absolutely. The strikes that India did, obviously, post the failed missile strikes of Pakistan, and that was a retaliation to it. And the target were weapon systems, the aerial defense systems, again Chinese, Preeti. So we have to factor in that element as well. And they were destroyed. Now, according to our defense sources, large battery was destroyed, but obviously there are still some that are working. Now, air defense systems right now are very important considering that you do not have a boots on the ground confrontation. There is no army involvement, there is no crossing the line of control or the international border. But these are standoff fires that are being done on both sides. So it is aerial fire that is very critical here, and the defense systems that need to work in a coordinated manner. And we have those systems up, and they were especially basically designed and they were integrated in a way that they would be effective during this kind of aerial confrontations. And that's exactly that we saw in the last 24 hours.
Stay on with me. I'm going to come right back because, you know, we'll reflect a bit on what has happened over the last couple of hours, especially in the Uri sector, because after a lull, there has been heavy artillery shelling by Pakistan, once again targeting civilian population. Unfortunately, one dead. We're going to cut across to Mir on that. But before that, viewers, I want to take you through the latest that is coming in. Just about, I would reckon, half hour, and we will have that all-important press briefing. All-important press briefing in just about half hour by the Ministry of External Affairs, briefing the world on the third phase of Operation Sindur and how Pakistan pushed us up the escalation ladder. But there's more news break coming in. I want to take you through that. Now, day 2 of India's water strike as well, because India, viewers, is acting on multiple fronts. Diplomacy at one hand, then where India's water treaty with Pakistan is concerned. And the latest that is coming in is multiple gates of Salal Dam are now open. Raging Chenab waters are gushing into Pakistan territory. Flood threat looms large in Pakistan after India's action. Indus treaty on hold. Pakistan hit with water bomb. Because all of that, if you put in context, while the Indus Water Treaty is in abeyance, which will slowly starve Pakistan of water, on the other hand, you have the Salal water dams. First, India had closed the gates. These are all, wartime operations thought over strategically. And now the Salal dam gates are open and raging Chenab waters are in all probability gushing towards Pakistan and could result in a flood. This is all war tactics, viewers, and India doing exactly that at the time where it's been pushed to the brink of escalation by Pakistan bit by bit. So another war tactics at play is what we've been given to understand. Mir, I want to bring you in, Mir. Quickly take us through the latest that is coming in and why, the topography of the area, reflect on that, how by opening the Salal water gates, what it will actually do, because Pakistan is a little low-lying from there, the areas of Pakistan, and that could get completely flooded. It's happened before. We've done it as a war tactics before, but that was 53 years ago in 1971.
Yes, Preeti. In fact, now India has decided to weaponize water. India is the upper riparian state, so whatever water Pakistan gets, it flows through India into Pakistan. Now, we have done detailed stories on the Indus Water Treaty, the rivers, eastern and western, and especially eastern rivers like Jhelum, Chenab, and Indus, or Sindhu Nadi as they call it. You talk of Chenab, it is here that India has made storage spaces. In Salal and Bagaliar power projects, we have storage spaces, dams that right now are being manipulated. Their water, whatever water they are giving out right now, we know last 2 days we have had incessant rain. So the flow of water is increased and India has used that. It is tweaking the supply, and yesterday suddenly all the gates were opened of these power projects, of these dams, and that led to a flood-like situation on the other side. So this is very critical. Previously also Pakistan had alleged that if you talk of the Uri power project, water was suddenly released, and that obviously led to a flood-like situation. In Chakoti, there was an emergency, though there was no official word from India, but we spoke to the expert and they said that that can technically happen. India can do it because they have that kind of storage space, at least as far as Chenab River and Jhelum is concerned. They can release water depending on how they feel, depending on the situation, and that can impact the sowing season in Pakistan, which is right now. This is the sowing season, and this in fact can impact their agriculture activity. So that is the other part. That is the other penalizing measure that India had in fact thought about, did not do so till date, but now post the suspension of IWT, that is being done, and we've seen that happening in Chenab, especially with the Bagaliar and Salal power projects and their dams being opened depending on the situation.
Bang on, Mir, all of this part of warfare. We are not in a war, but the conflict has only widened and heightened, and India now weaponizing water. All of this is just part of strategic warfare, and India doing exactly that, viewers. It's pressure on multiple fronts where Pakistan is concerned. Let me quickly dip in to the latest news break that's coming in. Mir, continue to stay with me. We're also going to cut across to Shivani in just a short while. Aishwarya is also with us. The latest coming in. US says unable to force de-escalation. US Vice President J.D. Vance says India-Pakistan conflict not a problem. Big signal to India, no stopping war on terror. Pakistan has nowhere to turn now. China cautions Gulf countries with India. J.D. Vance says India-Pakistan conflict not a problem. Signal coming in from the US cannot stop India. All right, so that's the latest that is coming in. There are multiple ways of reading this. We also have Shivani. We're going to try and cut across to our Ministry of External Affairs correspondent, Geeta Mohan, editor, External Affairs, who's just going to be joining us in a short while. I'm going to take you through, because this is very important, viewers, because there are multiple ways to read this. And what US till now, if you remember, when the conflict started, when India responded to attacking Pakistan's terror launch pads, very clearly at that point of time, you had the United States of America, and to quote President Trump, had said that it's a shame. So now that's Americanism saying what a shame that this has happened. But having said that, India had been briefing the United States of America Every day, our NSA, Ajit Doval, had been briefing America. On the other front, now you've had word coming in, and let me take you through that, because it's important to also read what is the larger connotation and messaging of what the United States of America has just said. US has actually come out and said that US is unable to force de-escalation. The Vice President of the United States of America, who was actually here when Pahalgam terror attack had happened and had expressed solidarity with India, has come out and said, India-Pakistan conflict, not our problem. It's a big signal there. Clearly, the United States of America has made it very clear that they are not going to intervene. So there are two ways of reading this, that Pakistan has nowhere to turn now. The United States of America is not intervening. But viewers, we must read it the other way as well, because if now the United States of America has clearly put their hands up, washed their hands off, suggesting that it's not our problem, we are not going to do anything with it. That also means somewhere down the line, Shivani, and we're going to try and get in Geeta Mohan, let's try and get her on the phone line, that Shivani, very clear that United States of America is going to be hands-off, not our problem. Pakistan might have nowhere to turn to. That also gives a free hand to India. But on the other hand, the other way to read this, Shivani, is that the diplomatic pressure that possibly India was hoping that the United States of America will mount on Pakistan to de-escalate, especially because the terror attack emanated from Pakistan's soil, is not going to happen. Two ways to read it, Shivani. Number one, Pakistan will have no one to turn to. America saying, hands off, it's your problem, deal with it, practically. That is what America's done right now. On the other hand, Shivani, the other messaging in this very strong, where India, if we were hoping that the United States of America is going to bear on Pakistan to de-escalate, put in that diplomatic pressure, that's also not going to happen, Shivani. Two ways to read the messaging coming in from the United States of America. Let's try and get Geeta Mohan very quickly.
Preeti, we must corroborate from what has been happening, the statements and the conversations that have been there with Prime Minister Narendra Modi
Shivani, I'm
and
just
the
coming
US
in.
President.
Shivani, just stay with me. I'm sorry. I know I'm cutting you short. Apologies there. The reason I'm doing so is we have Geeta Mohan, who follows, our editor, External Affairs. Geeta, that's huge messaging coming in from the United States of America. United States of America has clearly put its hands up, saying we are not going to do anything, unable to force the de-escalation. India-Pakistan conflict, as per the US Vice President, is not the problem of America. Big messaging there and dual messaging there, Geeta. At one end, we can clearly read it as Pakistan will have no one to turn to, but on the other end, India will also have to read it from the fact that if we were hoping that the United States of America would come in and put a lot of pressure on Pakistan to de-escalate, that's also not going to happen.
Well, that's right. Messaging officially from the United States of America, where statements were put out, Preeti, we were discussing that yesterday, and that those statements very clearly said that the two sides need to de-escalate. But look at the message coming in from none other than Vice President Vance, saying that the two countries need to decide what they want to do. That this is not within the realm and domain of America. Never have we heard U.S. leadership talk about India-Pakistan, the manner in which Vance has spoken, very clearly understanding the importance over here of India, Preeti, more than Pakistan. He was in India when the Pahalgam terror attack took place. He met with the Indian leadership. He was in meetings with the Indian leadership and immediately after the attack took place. So he was in India. He experienced the importance of what India has felt and what India will be doing in terms of response. So very clear message coming in from somebody who was actually on...
But Geeta, disappointing as well for India, because one would have thought that the United States of America, especially because what you pointed out, and I did say so earlier, that you had the vice president in India when Pahalgam terror attack took place, expressing solidarity with India. But it would be disappointing because I would think somewhere down the line, diplomatically, India would have hoped that the United States of America would have put enough global pressure on Pakistan to de-escalate.
Well, Preeti, see, this is Vice President J.D. Vance. He's known to speak his mind and speak in a way that might not always be aligned with the official position or what the U.S. administration is doing. Secretary Marco Rubio is a man who's been connected and engaged with India and Pakistan and the leadership of India and Pakistan. The messaging over there very clear. U.S. is concerned, wants de-escalation, but the statements read very differently. For India, it was standing with India in the fight against terrorism. For Pakistan, telling Pakistan to stop these terror factories. And that messaging should be it should show with clarity, Preeti, that the United States of America sees things from how India is looking at it and from India's perspective. For India, that's a plus. For J.D. Vance to come and say that they should handle this themselves is certainly a very different statement from any other statement we've seen in the past. But yes, it is the vice president who is saying, handle your own stuff, do it bilaterally, it's not our concern.
You know, that's huge messaging because right now, then that would mean, Geeta, that there is going to be no global pressure on Pakistan and also on India now. Because then India can re-chalk its strategy because if clearly at the back of a measured, proportionate response that India has been reiterating and following in spirit, Pakistan continues to escalate, India now has a free hand because it seems if the United States of America is going to back off and say, not our job, you know, to get into this, not our business, then India, this is also a positive sign for India because then India can strategize exactly the way they want to.
Well, that's right, but also, Preeti, the United States of America has been rather understanding of India's position and India's action. While on the one hand they have been saying de-escalate, there hasn't been a push and pressure like India has felt in the past every time India has taken an action against Pakistan. Those were different days. Trump administration is very different, works very differently, is engaged with India but not pushing India. President Donald Trump said it's a shame that they haven't stopped the conflict and there is escalation, but he did not go beyond that. So we are looking at a very different America, but it is also because we are a very different India today. Would India have conceded and paid heed to a country that would have said, do not respond to Pahalgam?
All right. Okay, Geeta, appreciate you joining us. So that's big statement coming in. But right now, because I would reckon, like my colleague Geeta, who studied the Vice President of America very closely, J.D. Vance, says we might need to take it with a pinch of salt because whatever J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the USA, has said doesn't quite concur on what has been the official line of the United States of America. So, we leave it at that. But if we have to infer from what J.D. Vance says, he says that we are not going to intervene. It's not our business with what's going on between India and Pakistan. Can be read in two ways. Number one, advantage India, because usually there has been a lot of pressure on India from America, especially in times like this, to not retaliate. But on the other hand, if India was hoping, because J.D. Vance was right here when the Pahalgam terror attacks took place, that the United States of America would somewhere down the line come and build enough global pressure on Pakistan to de-escalate. That's also not going to happen. We're going to leave it at that. 9 a.m. in all probability, the Ministry of External Affairs will brief the world on phase 3 of Operation Sindur. Stay with me. This is all war tactics, viewers, and India doing exactly that at the time where it's been pushed to the brink of escalation by Pakistan bit by bit. So another war tactics at play is what we've been given to understand. Mir, I want to bring you in, Mir. Quickly take us through the latest that is coming in and why, the topography of the area, reflect on that, how by opening the Salal water gates, what it will actually do, because Pakistan is a little low-lying from there, the areas of Pakistan, and that could get completely flooded. It's happened before. We've done it as a war tactics before, but that was 53 years ago in 1971.
Yes, Preeti. In fact, now India has decided to weaponize water. India is the upper riparian state, so whatever water Pakistan gets, it flows through India into Pakistan. Now, we have done detailed stories on the Indus Water Treaty, the rivers, eastern and western, and especially eastern rivers like Jhelum, Chenab, and Indus, or Sindhu Nadi as they call it. You talk of Chenab, it is here that India has made storage spaces. In Salal and Bagaliar power projects, we have storage spaces, dams that right now are being manipulated. Their water, whatever water they are giving out right now, we know last 2 days we have had incessant rain. So the flow of water is increased and India has used that. It is tweaking the supply, and yesterday suddenly all the gates were opened of these power projects, of these dams, and that led to a flood-like situation on the other side. So this is very critical. Previously also Pakistan had alleged that if you talk of the Uri power project, water was suddenly released, and that obviously led to a flood-like situation. Chakoti, there was an emergency, though there was no official word from India, but we spoke to the expert and they said that that can technically happen. India can do it because they have that kind of storage space, at least as far as Chenab River and Jhelum is concerned. They can release water depending on how they feel, depending on the situation, and that can impact the sowing season in Pakistan, which is right now. This is the sowing season, and this in fact can impact their agriculture activity. So that is the other part. That is the other penalizing measure that India had in fact thought about, did not do so till date, but now post the suspension of IWT, that is being done, and we've seen that happening in Chenab, especially with the Bagaliar and Salal power projects and their dams being opened depending on the situation.
Bang on, Mir, all of this part of warfare. We are not in a war, but the conflict has only widened and heightened, and India now weaponizing water. All of this is just part of strategic warfare, and India doing exactly that, viewers. It's pressure on multiple fronts where Pakistan is concerned. Let me quickly dip in to the latest news break that's coming in. Mir, continue to stay with me. We're also going to cut across to Shivani in just a short while. Aishwarya is also with us. The latest coming in. US says unable to force de-escalation. US Vice President J.D. Vance says India-Pakistan conflict not a problem. Big signal to India, no stopping war on terror. Pakistan has nowhere to turn now. China cautions Gulf countries with India. J.D. Vance says India-Pakistan conflict not our problem. Signal coming in from the US cannot stop India. All right, so that's the latest that is coming in. There are multiple ways of reading this. We also have Shivani. We're going to try and cut across to our Ministry of External Affairs correspondent, Geeta Mohan, editor, External Affairs. So at any moment from now, we'd be expecting a debriefing by the Ministry of External Affairs on where we stand, the fine print, the micro data of what happened in the last 13 hours. Taking you through the developments. Now, amidst the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, Pak shelling resumes once again in Uri after a brief pause. One person has been reported dead and several others injured in the renewed cross-border firing. The situation remains tense as shelling continues in the area. A fresh Pakistani drone strike was repelled in Jaisalmer early this morning. Between 4:30 to 5:30 a.m., Indian Air Defense units swiftly intercepted and took down the incoming drones. Last night, over 50 Pakistani swarm drones were neutralized by Indian Army Air Defense during a major counter-drone operation across Udhampur, Samba, Jammu, Akhnur, Nagrota, Pathankot, along the LOC and the international border. Amidst heightened tensions between India and Pakistan, a major infiltration bid by suspected terrorists was foiled by the BSF along the international border in Samba district of Jammu and Kashmir. According to government sources, India launched counter-strikes on Pakistan last night, targeting multiple locations in response to recent provocations. Heavy damage was reportedly inflicted in Lahore, with several other cities, including Peshawar and Bawalnagar, hit badly. All right, as Pakistan pushes India way up the escalation matrix, the latest coming in from South Block, New Delhi. Tri-services chiefs have reached the Defence Ministry. The Defence Minister will meet the CDS and the three chiefs shortly. The reasoning of that very clear and simple, viewers. The three chiefs and the CDS will apprise the Defence Minister on where India stands currently with the conflict with Pakistan. The last 14 hours have been crucial. Pakistan has tipped the scales by crossing the proverbial red line when it went after key civil installations of India. India responded befittingly, attacking Pakistan, while Pakistan came attempting to attack our western front. We went deep in once again back to Lahore. We have attacked Lahore, Peshawar, Bawalnagar, Kant. These three we can confirm. We are going to steer away from all the other unconfirmed news that is coming in, where Karachi has been attacked. We are not giving you that because we are unable to actually verify that. We'd rather wait for the Ministry of External Affairs that will come out and brief the country and the world very shortly. I want to cut across to Aishwarya, my colleague who's been tracking the situation through the course of the night on how the government has been reacting to the developments, and developments in the last 14 hours have happened thick and fast, Aishwarya, because the last 14 hours, India and Pakistan, practically Pakistan pushing India up that escalatory ladder. Big question, number one, when can we hear from the Ministry of External Affairs, the all-important press brief? Number two, the Prime Minister has constantly been keeping an eye on all developments, and the Defence Minister now being briefed as we speak by the tri-chiefs and CDS.
Well, Preeti, the Defence Minister has been told what exactly has happened, because that is something that the government will have to come out and tell, not just India, but even most of the opposition parties. So that's also something that we will keep a very close eye on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, NSA Ajit Doval, all of them are in the know of what exactly has happened. A proper briefing of what went on at what time, all those things will now be told to the Defence Minister by the tri-chiefs. So that's a very crucial meeting which will begin in about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh about to reach that meeting. He will be briefed about it, and then we will see the Defence Minister coming here at the Prime Minister's house and then briefing the Prime Minister about all those things that have happened. The very crucial MEA meeting, PC. Also, Preeti, let me tell you, to begin in just a short while from now, they will tell us what exactly happened and will also tell us the next course of action that India at the moment is looking at. The government, let me tell you, is also very closely monitoring social media platforms, Preeti, because a lot of misinformation taking place. The government is also looking at shooting down misinformation originating from Pakistan. Preeti.
Well, you're right there, because Pakistan is, running its own propaganda. And, this is time, though we are not at war, viewers, but at a state of heightened conflict that we are in right now, there is so much disinformation that it becomes very difficult to sift the facts from what is hearsay and clear propaganda. So, be very mindful, be very careful on the news that you are consuming, because even sometimes, big platforms can completely get it wrong. Trust India Today, because mind you, we are verifying, re-verifying, and only giving out the information that has been corroborated by multiple sources and the government. Very, very careful there. And it's also a good time, to speak of journalists who've been covering this conflict over the last 48 hours, India Today reporters on ground. It's very easy to sit and pass judgment on what they are doing or not doing, but these are not easy time to report this conflict. So much disinformation, and to actually get you what is the truth, verified information, is no easy task. At the same time, putting your neck in the line of fire. So, the battery of India Today reporters that have been doing an exemplary job at that on the Western Front is commendable, viewers. I want to also, take this time to cut across. We have a guest this morning, Lieutenant General S.L. Narasimhan, defense expert, joining us this morning. General, very good morning there. The last 14 hours have been crucial, where we stood before 8 p.m. last night to where we stand today, multiple levels up on the escalation matrix. How do you read this?
At the outset, good morning, Preeti, and thanks for having me on your show. This was expected. I mean, as I mentioned somewhere else, this is an action-reaction kind of a thing that is going on at this point in time. Action was started by Pakistan. We acted as a reaction to that by Operation Sindoor. And when we did Operation Sindoor, it was expected that Pakistan will come up with something. The problem was Pakistan did not have any terrorist camps in India to target. So they had to target the military establishments, which they tried to do. Fortunately for us, the integrated air defense grid that we had established has protected us to the core, and none of the Pakistani efforts could succeed. On the contrary, we have been able to neutralize something in Lahore yesterday morning, and I think that is something which will go on for some more time before things settle down.
But General, do you see, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but General, do you see somewhere down the line that Pakistan has crossed that proverbial red line where escalation is concerned when it attempted to go after civil installations like the Jammu airport?
You see, the thing that you need to understand is we have just started looking at the tip of the iceberg. So far, what we have seen is the drones and some missiles which have been launched. We have not talked about the forces which have moved or not moved. We have not talked about the armored columns which have moved or not moved. So these are actually a major escalation in case that happens. So far, what we have seen is a lighter version of a conflict wherein only drones and missiles have been used. So the next escalation level could be artillery fire, or more missiles, or Air Force being used in a standoff mode. A lot of other things could come. But Indian armed forces are very well prepared for it.
General, artillery fire, especially on the LOC, Pakistan has started to resort to heavy artillery fire where the LOC is concerned. Word coming in that India has already shot down through the course of last night 3 Pakistani jets. We are waiting for a confirmation by the Ministry of External Affairs as well. One thing, General, for somebody who studied war, who has seen it up close and personal, what do you see? Do you see Pakistan de-escalating? Because all the signs seem to suggest we're only going to go up the escalation ladder.
I personally feel that Pakistan will first escalate a little bit more, thereafter to this is called escalate to de-escalate. So they may escalate a little bit more, and thereafter they can come for de-escalation is what I personally feel. On the escalation ladder, there are many levels to which it can be going, but we are mentally prepared and we are physically prepared. We will be able to handle whatever Pakistan is planning to come up with.
General, what we do know right now is that in terms of a proportionate aggressive response by India after Pakistan attempted to attack civil installations yesterday and multiple locations across the Western Front, all of that thwarted, India has successfully attacked Lahore, Peshawar, Bawalnagar, Kant is what we can confirm. Unconfirmed reports of Karachi, we are not giving that out, just yet. We're hoping for the Ministry of External Affairs to come in and make that clear because there's so much disinformation. But General, for someone who's seen battle, who's seen wars, I want to ask you how the Indian Navy is practically the last resort where the escalation has gone to an extent. That is where you bring in the Indian Navy because the primary target of the Indian Navy would be to take down economic assets of a country.
You are absolutely right. I'm sure the Indian Navy is doing its job in the Arabian Sea, and I'm sure they are keeping everything under watch. And if they have to intervene, I'm sure they are very well prepared to intervene. As you said, whatever Navy does, the effect of that will not be known today. It will be known 3 months, 4 months down the line when the economic issues come to a particular country. So our Navy is very well prepared. I am sure they are on the seas, monitoring everything, ready to go in if it is required. So far, Karachi one, I am sure you also said that it is still not clear as to whether something has happened or not. We'll have to wait for clearances to come, but they will be very much ready. That is the point I wanted to convey to you.
One quick question before, General, that I want to ask you, which is usually we have seen the forces, they want a strong government to take strong calls. And, we've witnessed that in the past as well. Usually we have seen, because word coming in, the United States of America has practically put its hands up and said, it's your business. We've got nothing to do with it. So, you will not have America constantly, what it had done in the past, pressurizing India to de-escalate, but also at this point of time, you will not have America, if we were hoping that there would be enough global pressure at the back of Pahalgam attacks and India's retaliation. America is not even going to ask Pakistan to de-escalate. That practically leaves India and Pakistan to figure it out bilaterally or through the conflict that we are seeing.
I would suggest you take a step back, a step back and see. The Secretary of State and NSA of USA had spoken twice to our External Affairs Minister and also to Prime Minister of Pakistan. While Vice President said what he said, which you mentioned in your remarks, the Secretary of State and NSA, both are with Mr. Rubio. He has been speaking to our External Affairs Minister and Pakistan's Prime Minister, trying to do this. There are others who are in the act. If you look at it, the Iran Foreign Minister was in Pakistan. Now he was in India yesterday. Similarly, the Saudi Foreign Minister is going to Pakistan. I think today is in Pakistan. There are all other countries are also trying to play a role to bring this temperature down between India and Pakistan. We have clearly made our position very clear. We are not for escalation. But if Pakistan escalates, he can be my guest and we will return it in the same coin to him or a little more so that the pressure is on him. That is the way in which we have to see it.
Right.
I think we both need to look at it in this manner and then take a call on how to take this
Fair
forward.
point, because yes, you are right, because Vice President Vance usually has in the past, and I'm just going by past statements, have made comments which haven't quite aligned with what has been the stand of the United States of America. So yes, we need to take it with a pinch of salt. Before I let you go, General, one larger question there. It doesn't seem that Pakistan is de-escalating, at least for now. Now, the response of India, militarily, what do you suggest it should be? Because we are giving it back proportionately, harder, but proportionate response, not escalatory, but retaliatory. Having said that, should India now hit harder where Pakistan is concerned? Or do you think the strategy which has been adopted is perfect?
I think we have other options. We have more options. Like, for example, all the maps which all the channels showed about 21 areas which are actually at terrorist camps, etc. in Pakistan. We targeted 9. We can go for more. That is one way of doing it. Since Pakistan is actually targeting our military installations, we can go back to their military installations and target them like we did in Lahore. There are a lot of options available to us. The only thing is, since we don't want to escalate, we don't want to go very high on the offensive. So we will do it step by step in proportion to whatever Pakistan does, and we will leave the escalatory ladder responsibility to Pakistan to see that. Because we also know Pakistan cannot sustain itself for a very long period. So if he escalates higher, he is the one who is going to face the music. So we need to keep it at that level and see there are other options that we can always keep exercising to return the favor to Pakistan.
Right. General, appreciate you joining us this morning and giving us your inputs. Thank you. Have a good day. With that, viewers, let me quickly move on. Thank you, sir. With that, let me quickly move on and get our viewers the latest, the biggest developments that have happened in the last 1 hour. Well, something that we touched on with the general there. You've had the Vice President of America practically come out and said that Pakistan's not going to intervene. It's not that America is not going to intervene in India and Pakistan's conflict. It's up to the two nations to figure it out, practically that, which doesn't quite ally or align with what has been the official stand of the United States of America. So we're going to wait in on that. On the other hand, the other top development that is coming in right now, the CDS, the tri-chiefs are actually meeting with the Defense Minister, South Bloc Defense Ministry. Briefing is on, where there is going to be a complete debrief of what happened yesterday through the last 14 hours, and the Defence Minister will be apprised. We will, anytime now, have a press briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs, which will once again give out the micro print, the fine print, the micro data of what transpired in the last 14 hours. Because viewers, we might not be at war, the state of conflict might be heightened, but the fog of war is such that there is so much disinformation, and the Ministry of External Affairs will come and, put the light on what really is important and the larger message that India needs to give out to the world, as we now have been forced to embark, forced viewers, and that's a good word to use here, by Pakistan to embark on the third chapter of Operation Sindur, where we are giving it back proportionately, aggressively. With that, the latest also coming in amidst heightened tensions between Pakistan and India. The last 24 hours have been extremely intense, and you've seen how, we've been pushed up the escalation matrix, and all thanks to Pakistan. On May 8th, Pakistan attempted to infiltrate Indian territory once again. The attempt was successfully foiled by our brave forces across multiple regions. It is always a good time, viewers, like right now, to take that moment and reflect on what our brave men, the boots on ground, are doing for us. Many of us over the last 48 hours have slept peacefully while our men have thwarted every possible attack on the Western Front. And, with those men on boots, these brave men and women, a hat tip here. And we all must take that time to do so. Meanwhile, more news there. Pakistan attempted to strike the Jammu airport. And this is where Pakistan proverbially crossed that red line, because it's not just going after the Indian military establishments. You were trying to attack our civilians, which Pakistan was already doing across the LOC, or even before that, where it started using heavy artillery fire and mortars across the LOC, where we now, viewers, have a casualty in collateral of this conflict of 17. 17 Indian citizens have been killed by Pakistan in the last 48 hours. And unlike Pakistan, we are a country that does not wear our grief lightly. There will be retribution for that as well. All right, so the latest also that coming in through the course of the night, like we pointed out, Pakistan attempted to strike on the Jammu airport, the Jammu University. Additional targets included Udhampur, Pathankot, Jaisalmer, Jalandhar. What thwarted this attempt? India's Sudarshan Chakra S-400 missile system, completely repelled this attack, as well as certain indigenous made in India Kashmir ADS air defense system also assisted the S-400, and important to touch on that. While the S-400, viewers, has been bought in from Russia, the Kashmir is indigenous, made in India. India successfully, and that's important to note, shot down one F-16 jet and two JF-17s. JF-17s are China-acquired planes. Multiple missiles and drones were also neutralized by India. In retaliation, India launched strikes on Lahore. Loud explosions were heard in Peshawar and near Bahawal Nagar cantonment. In Bahawal Nagar cantonment, people rushed out of their homes as sirens blared. Mosque speakers urged residents to turn off household lights. Authorities have yet to release an official statement. While all eyes in India trained on the Ministry of External Affairs, viewers, we're going to hear from it very shortly, where we'll know exactly what the last 14 hours brought and how India retaliated. All right, more news. Wrap up. Tensions with India if New Delhi de-escalates the situation. Listen in to the Defence Minister. All right, okay. More news coming in. BJP claims Jaish second in command, Rauf Asghar, killed. Kandahar plane hijack plotter, the man who also killed Daniel Pearl, viewers. Pathankot terror attack mastermind dead. Parliament attack mastermind Rauf Asghar killed. Jaish chief's brother killed in the Indian strikes. Rauf beheaded US journalist Daniel Pearl in 2002. It's a claim right now that has been made by the Bharatiya Janata Party. We're going to try and get in more information on it. I will cut across to Aishwarya, my colleague, who's joining us. Aishwarya, once again, there's been a lot of chatter where certain journalists have been claiming online that the second in command of Jaish-e-Mohammed, Rauf Asghar, was killed in the strikes by India to dismantle the terror launchpads in Pakistan. There is no official confirmation of that just yet by the Ministry of External Affairs, but the BJP seemingly suggesting that one of the most wanted men by India has been neutralized.
Well, Preeti, that's the thing. We are still awaiting an official confirmation, but this is not news which has been doing rounds over the past few hours. In fact, this is news which has been doing rounds for the past 24 hours. Now, if we speak about Pakistan, we will get no clarity from them. But yes, from what we are understanding in the precision strike, and this is what the government had been discussing, at least over the past 10 days, that this time the masterminds need to be killed. Those people who have been supporting terrorism in India across many decades, they are the ones who now need to be punished. And if you remember the first slide, when we did see that press briefing that was being done, the first slide showed how many civilians were being killed over the past many decades in terror attacks that have taken place in India. So the government was very, very clear. Preeti, we are still awaiting an official confirmation. But yes, we are hearing from government also, despite a confirmation, that there is a chance that the second in command could actually have died in this precision strike, because precision strike was what the government was also aiming at, and very, very clear. And that's what India has told all the world leaders also, that this was not an escalation, no military area, no military hideout was actually being targeted. Only those areas from where terrorism was emanating, those were the ones that were being targeted by those strikes that took place. Those 9 targets were the places where terrorism activities were taking place against India.
Aishwarya, quickly get us up to speed. Very soon we are going to hear from the Ministry of External Affairs, and in all probability this particular question will be posed, because if true right now, no official confirmation yet, it is huge news, because to neutralize the second in command of the Jaish-e-Mohammed in this terror strike is massive success for the Indian armed forces.
Jaish-e-Mohammed, LEG and Hafiz Saeed, let me tell you, Preeti, these were the names that were on the hit list of the Indian government, because they were very, very clear. They need to make sure that the number of people who die are minimum, but they also had to make sure that these terror hideouts, the places where these people were hiding, the terror camps that are taking place, because the government understands, in fact, everyone knows that these are the places where the training takes place, and then they cross over from POK into India, and then we see what happened. A small glimpse we all got on the 22nd of April. So with regards to that, we are still awaiting an official confirmation. But yes, we are hearing the fact that the second in command of the Jaish-e-Mohammed has been eliminated by India.
All right, we're going to come back to you, Aishwarya. Stay with me. I just want to take our viewers through, if true, what this news could actually mean, viewers. What we've been given to understand, that the Jaish-e second in command, Rauf Asghar, was killed in the attack of India, which India launched on the night, 48 hours ago, where it reacted of taking down terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. This is the same man who was behind the Kandahar plane hijack plotter, the same man, Pathankot terror attack mastermind, the same man behind the parliament attack, Rauf Asghar, in all probability has been killed. We're waiting for an official confirmation there. The Jaish chief's brother has been killed in the Indian attack. He's the same man who beheaded US journalist Daniel Pearl in 2002 as well. We're going to get in a larger understanding if that a confirmation of that, but all indications seem to suggest that he was neutralized when India bombed the Jaish headquarters in Bahawalpur in Pakistan. Meanwhile, viewers, it's day 15 of ceasefire violations by Pakistan along the line of control in Uri early this morning. One death has been reported following a ceasefire violation by Pakistan. Pakistan is relentlessly going after civilian population, especially on the line of control. Not light arms, heavy artillery being used, mortars being used by Pakistan to attack civilian population. And one woman this morning has been killed in Uri. With this, the total death count, viewers, goes to 17 right now. The Pakistan Army has targeted multiple locations along the LOC. The most heavily hit area were Punch, where 13 people were killed. During the ceasefire, Pakistani forces are targeting innocent civilians and their homes. As seen in these visuals on your television screen, people are suffering and their houses are badly damaged and affected. Once again, I would like to point out, viewers, the collateral here, the 17 lives that have been lost, killed by Pakistan systematically, targetedly, is something that India will not forgive. We do not disown our dead. And the weight of the 17 innocent lives, the grief of that will bear heavy, appropriately returned with a befitting response to Pakistan. Let's listen in to all the ground reports.
There is no end to ceasefire violations by Pakistan along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan has resorted to heavy shelling, and as a result of that, people living in the border villages are facing the brunt of Pakistan's shelling. Many people have lost their lives, and that is why people are now rushing to safer areas. The administration has also swung into action, and the administration has set up relief camps at various places, and people are also being evacuated from the places which are shelling prone. We are right now at a relief camp that has been set up by the administration here in Jammu and Kashmir, and here you can see that a large number of people have taken shelter in this relief camp. They are carrying their belongings with them. You can see their bags. Whatever they could manage to bring with them, they have brought. घबराहट हो रही है वहाँ?
बहुत घबराहट हो रही है।
तो रात को क्या माहौल रहता है?
बहुत गर्म माहौल रहता है रात में।
तो अब आप अपने घर छोड़कर यहाँ राहत शिविर में?
हाँ, घर छोड़ के इधर आए हैं। बहुत परेशानी हो रही है हमें। हाँ।
तो क्या सामान साथ में लाए?
बहुत सामान लाया, सभी लाया, बिस्तर वगैरह, खाने पीने का सामान लाया साथ में।
तो यहाँ जो रिलीफ कैंप है, यहाँ आपको कुछ सुविधा मिल रही है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल मिल रही है यहाँ पे। हाँ, सरकार के द्वारा मिल रही है, खाना मिल रहा है हमें। तो थोड़ा बहुत जो भी नहीं है सामान वो भी दे रहे हैं।
जब आप यहाँ आए उससे पहले क्या माहौल था सीमा पर?
फायरिंग हो रही थी हमारे गांव में, नहीं और दूसरे गांव में हो रही थी।
दूसरे आसपास के गांव?
हाँ हाँ, दूसरे गांव में।
लोगों में डर उत्पन्न हो?
हाँ, वो डर, निकल जाओ जहाँ से।
तो यहाँ पर सभी सुविधाएं मिल रही है आपको राहत?
हाँ, मिल रही है बहुत सुविधा।
खाना वगैरह?
हाँ, खाना वाना सब मिल रहा है।
तो सरकार ने जो अभी पाकिस्तान को मुंहतोड़ जवाब दिया है, तो आपको क्या लगता है कि पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ और भी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए?
हाँ, होनी चाहिए, पाकिस्तान के साथ कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए।
This is Sunil Bhatt reporting from an undisclosed location in Jammu and Kashmir for India Today.
ये मेरे पीछे देख सकते हैं कि जो कल पाकिस्तान ने एक बार फिर सिविलियन के जो मकान है उन पे अंधाधुंध गोलीबारी की है, और जिसके जद में ये पूरा जो बस्ती है वो है, ये आप मेरे विजुअलों में देख सकते हैं कि कितना नुकसान हुआ यहाँ पे। सजाद साहब, क्या हुआ कल यहाँ पे?
सर, कल हम 4 बजे तो हम नीचे वाले साइड में चले गए थे, फिर शाम को हम मगरिब नमाज के बाद मस्जिद में आ गए। तो फिर रात को इतना ज़्यादा फायरिंग हुई कि बरसात जिस तरह जा रही है इस तरह फायरिंग की आवाज़ आ रहे थे। तो सुबह अपने बाहर निकले तो हमने जब छूने चले तो हमने आके देखे तो घर डैमेज हो गया,
पूरा खत्म हो गया।
पूरा खत्म हो गया।
ये किस टाइम हुआ कल?
ये रात को हुआ सर।
तो आपने खुद देखा होगा कि किस तरह पाकिस्तान ने यहाँ पे अंधाधुंध फायरिंग की सिविलियन के मकानों पे, और ये पूरा जो इलाका है हर एक मकान में किसी की दीवार, किसी की छत और किसी की पूरा जो मकान वो डैमेज है।
All right, that's the tragic part of a conflict such as this, viewers, because the collateral are innocent civilian lives and property. And like I said, 17 lives lost, killed by Pakistan. It's something that India will not wear lightly, the grief of it. We will give a befitting response back. We don't disown our dead like Pakistan, and this will bear heavy. News just coming in right now. The latest news break: an air warning has been received from the Air Force station of possible attacks. Sirens are being sounded. All are advised to remain indoors and away from balcony. This has happened in Chandigarh. Air raid sirens in Chandigarh have been sounded a short while ago. The latest that is coming in is that everyone has been advised to remain indoors and away from balcony. Is it just precautionary? Because it had happened, viewers, yesterday last night as well, where there were air raid sirens in Chandigarh and a complete blackout. Everybody was asked to remain indoors and even do not go on rooftops. But the latest news that is coming in right now seems to suggest that either there is a warning or it is just precautionary. But in Chandigarh, air warning sirens are blaring from Air Force stations of a possible attack. Sirens are being sounded. All have been advised to remain indoors and completely away from balconies. This piece of information we are getting in from Chandigarh. Chandigarh was on the terror or was on the radar of Pakistan yesterday as well. Through the course of the night, multiple times air raid sirens blared in Chandigarh, and also there was a complete blackout where Chandigarh was concerned. Having said that, right now, just about 5 minutes ago, information just coming in, viewers, that once again air sirens are blaring through Chandigarh, and there is a tip-off that there could be a possible drone attack. Everyone has been advised to remain indoors, completely away from balconies. Pakistan concerted in its effort. Each of those have been neutralized till now. They've sent in drones to Jalandhar, where Punjab was concerned. Many drones were intercepted in Jalandhar and neutralized, viewers. Right now, it seems it's just a precautionary warning just yet, but an air warning has been sounded from Air Force Station of a possible attack. Sirens are blaring in Chandigarh. Everyone has been advised to remain indoors and completely away from balconies, because it does seem Pakistan is escalating the situation. I want to cut across to our battery of reporters. We are definitely not giving out their exact locations, because this is an ongoing conflict, an ongoing operation, and we do not want to compromise any strategic location, and also to safeguard the location of our reporters. My colleague Asim Bassi, who watches Punjab, studies Punjab very closely, is joining us for larger details that are coming in. Asim, what are you hearing where people from Chandigarh are concerned? I believe... All right, we seem to have lost Asim Bassi. We're going to cut across to him in just a short while. I will take you through the latest news break that is coming in right now. An air warning siren has been sounded in Chandigarh. It had happened last night as well. There were no attacks, but there is maybe a possibility or a tip-off that the Air Force has received. The Air Force Station have sounded air sirens. Everyone has been advised to remain indoors and away from balconies. Yesterday, there were parts of Punjab that did come into attack. Amritsar did come into attack, where there were sirens that were sounded. Jalandhar, there were drones that were intercepted and neutralized, viewers. None of those drones actually hit Punjab. I want to cut across to our reporter Asim Bassi, once again not giving out their locations. We do not want to compromise what is an ongoing operation. Asim, air sirens blaring in Chandigarh. What are your sources telling you from there? What's the update?
Well, last night also Chandigarh was in a blackout, and this morning also the warnings came out. But now a serious warning has come up from the air base in Chandigarh, and the district administration has themselves released it that sirens are hit in Chandigarh, and air attack warning has come up in Chandigarh, and this is the reason that the people are advised to stay indoor. And this is officially coming from the air base, and the district administration ruled an information it publicized, and sirens were hitting all over the city, and people were advised not to come to the balconies, not to come outdoor. And especially when the Pakistan has done a lot of misadventure in Jammu, in Pathankot, in Punjab. Now, the latest is that air attack warning signals have come in Chandigarh from the air base, and the administration has asked the people to be careful and stay indoors. So this is really big coming from Chandigarh ever since the India-Pakistan escalation has come up.
All right, so that's the big news that, viewers, once again, we don't want to sound alarmist. There is no need to panic at all. It is precautionary, but there has been a tip-off with what my colleague Asim Bassi tells us that seems to suggest that there could be a possible drone strike. Now, All of this right now is just precautionary. However, an air warning has been sounded in Chandigarh from the Chandigarh Air Force Station. Everyone in Chandigarh has been advised to remain indoors and away from balconies. There was a similar warning that had been sent out yesterday as well. Chandigarh had a complete blackout yesterday. A similar air siren warning was also sounded late last night. The same thing repeating right now. Asim, what more can you add? What is being anticipated? Is there a drone strike being anticipated? What are you picking up?
Well, the note which has been released by the administration clearly says that an air attack warning is this is an air attack warning. So this is what kind of a mentioning is being given in that note. So promptly reacting properly to the air attack warning released by the air base. The Chandigarh administration released it for the media, released it for the public so that they can be indoor, and the sirens were blown. So because the Punjab was on the radar last night, Jammu was there, Pathankot was there. So Chandigarh also was under a lot of precaution. Blackouts were done, schools were closed, colleges were closed. And now this kind of a warning coming definitely left the people on toes, and the administration has totally swung into action, and even the armed forces there.
All right, once again, viewers, not to sound alarmist, not to panic, but if you're in Chandigarh, remain indoors, away from balconies. This could all very well just be precautionary. In any case, schools and colleges and all education establishments have been shut in Chandigarh for the next 2 days. But air sirens right now are blaring where Chandigarh is concerned. Chandigarh is important. We don't want to give out strategic details in terms of why Pakistan is looking to target Chandigarh in terms of India's military installations. We are not going to get there, but sirens being sounded in Chandigarh right now as I speak. If you are in Chandigarh, the advice is to remain inside, away from balconies. Do not venture on your rooftops. It, in all probability, is only but precautionary. So, till now, just sirens being sounded in Chandigarh. Asim Bassi telling us that there is, by the local administration, there is a press note that has been sent out. It's a warning that has been sent out to the citizens of the local administration that there could possibly is a big word right now, could be an air attack where Chandigarh is concerned. It could be through drones, but this is what we've been given to understand. While we keep our eyes trained very firmly on developments that are coming in from Chandigarh, I want to move across to Dev Ankur Vadhavan. Once again, not giving out locations, but Dev studies Rajasthan very closely. He's been clued in to all developments since late last night. Viewers, Rajasthan shares about a 1,000-kilometer border with Pakistan, the largest in the country in terms of a state that shares its borders with Pakistan. Early this morning, Jaisalmer also had air sirens blaring. There was an attempt of a drone attack on Jaisalmer, which was immediately thwarted. Dev, what more can you add?
Well, good morning, Preeti. Without divulging where exactly I am, and the attempt shall also be to not divulge any of the information which is of strategic importance, I can tell you all across the western border, which Rajasthan shares with Pakistan, and all the districts including Bikaner, Badmer, Shri Ganganagar, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, these are the districts which have their borders with Pakistan. The Indian Army, the armed forces have been on high alert. Each and every attempt by Pakistan to attack the Indian territory, whether through drones or through missiles, have been thwarted each and every time. Clearly, Pakistan's army does not have the wherewithal or the might to face the Indian army in a combat situation, and it knows India is a massive country, it runs deep, and the kind of preparation that is there on ground, I can tell you, not only on the border areas, even inside, without disclosing any details of strategic importance, I can tell you the preparation is maximum. There is proper planning that has been done to ensure that any eventuality, any challenge is thwarted. And there is a growing sentiment amongst people as well. They feel that Pakistan has been targeting civilian places. Pakistan has been targeting military establishments, whereas India had specifically targeted terrorist hideouts within Pakistan, and that too as a retaliatory response to what had happened in Pahalgam. So they feel that all of this escalation that has been happening is the sole responsibility of Pakistan, because it could have stopped. It could have not indulged in this kind of
Dave, stay with me once again. I'm going to get our viewers updated with the latest that is coming in. Precautionary right now, not sounding alarmist, do not panic. But there is a clear and present warning for Chandigarh right now. Air sirens have been sounded off by the Air Force Station. A warning of a possible air attack. Precautionary right now. Possible air attack on Chandigarh. We have our eyes trained on Chandigarh. We are going to continue to get the latest that is coming in from there. But on the other side, I want to bring in Ashraf Wani, once again, not giving out our locations, do not want to compromise an ongoing operation strategically. But Ashraf, what's the latest that you are picking up? You look at Kashmir very closely. Uri came under massive artillery fire along the LOC this morning. One life has been lost in that. Right now, across the LOC where Kashmir is concerned, is the artillery shelling still continuing by Pakistan?
Yes, absolutely, Preeti. Basically, we have seen this artillery shelling which has been started by the Pakistan for last 48 hours, particularly in the areas which are near the line of control. During the previous night, there was a massive exchange of mortars and the artillery shelling from Pakistan, which was responded with the befitting reply from the Indian side also. But unfortunately, we have lost two civilians, one in the Uri, another one in the Punch, one woman and one boy in Punch. So the death toll has now mounted to 18 in these ceasefire violations by the mortars and the artillery shelling in the different